for people going for IDR forgiveness, the big thing to know about that is if you're forgiven, if you were supposed to be forgiven in 2025, even if you've received forgiveness later, you're not going to get a 1099-C with that. You're not going to get hit with a tax consequence of those loans being forgiven. But unfortunately, what that also says is in tax year 2026, if you get your student loans forgiven in 2026 and you were supposed to have them forgiven in 2026, that means the old treatment of student loan forgiveness for people in the private sector is coming back. And what does that look like? What it looks like is you're going to get a 1099-C miscellaneous income, basically in the mail from your servicer, most likely. And it's going to say your loans were forgiven or paid off. And then because they were forgiven, taxable debt that's forgiven is considered taxable income under IRS code. So you're going to get a 1099 in the mail. Let's say you've got 200,000 of loans, you get forgiveness in 2026, and you're supposed to be forgiven in 2026, not 2025. That you're going to get a 1099-C in the mail for 200 grand. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at your assets. They're going to say, are your assets greater than your debt? And to the extent that the assets are much greater than your debt, you're going to get billed on the forgiven debt as if it's income. Now, the good news is if somebody is really not in a good financial spot, if they have a negative net worth, for example, you just file a form to declare that you're insolvent and there's an insolvency exclusion, meaning that you don't get taxed on that debt if you have a negative net worth when you get forgiveness. Now, is it good to have a negative net worth to, get your loans forgiven tax free? No, right? That's not what we want for people. What we want for people is to have a very large asset base so that when their debt is forgiven, if they do have to pay taxes on it, it's easy to pay. And what that's going to mean is you're going to want to be putting money aside, ideally into a brokerage account, a taxable account.